and welcome to another off-centered bi-weekly every Wednesday night. Steve actually got lulled into a sleep by that countdown intro. Can you really blame him? Steve, what's going on, man?
Well, 3 weeks in a row, I've tried to fight off the intro music, but tonight it's been a long, tiring day. That music hit, man, about rocked me to sleep. But what's up, man? It's been a while.
I know. I feel like normally we talk quite a bit, but the last couple of weeks you've been, well, obviously I've been busy, and then you've been busy with work and then home renovations, all sorts of different things you got going on.
Yeah, it's like, remember our last 2 weeks ago, and I haven't done a video in 2 weeks because I remember being like, okay, I have off-centered. That'll spare me from doing a video. And then I've just been busy. And ironically, the last live stream was titled When the Hobby Punches You in the Face, right? But like when the summer, real life punches you in the face, and not in a bad way. It's just, I moved into the new home, and it's the first year with the pool and the deck and the landscaping and getting it all right and catching it all up. And once everything's on track, everything will be good and sustained. But
yeah,
the past week and a half to 2 weeks between my regular job and having 2 days off to split between family and yard and all that stuff's been overwhelming. And I actually had my 23rd wedding anniversary in the mix.
Oh, nice. Congrats.
So yeah, that was in the mix. Thanks. And yeah, I'm still buying cards because that's easy to do, right? It's easy to hit the bid button or the buy it now button and just wait for your card to come in the mail. But I haven't even been able to do. I guess I could squeeze. Usually I squeeze my videos in when I'm driving to work, but you can't do a mail day when you're driving to work, so it's kind of like that. But who wants to see mail days these days anyway, right? Those videos are boring. So
it's funny how that is. You would think, well, you always hear like, I want to see, cards shown and all that stuff. And anytime I show cards, nobody watches. They'll watch when I do some sort of news stuff. But yeah, I mix those in. I mix those in when I can. I did a live stream last night because my oldest son, he's on the varsity baseball team and they're in the state playoffs. I couldn't go to the game because it was literally like on the other side of the state. It's a 3-hour drive over to this game. They won 9-0. So they're moving on. So hopefully I'm planning to attend his game on Friday, but it's basically like one and done. If you're out, it's single elimination. So yeah, hopefully he'll continue to keep that going. Let's say hi to some people. Michael Hambone. What is going on, brother?
Ham. I think that's the new cadence. It's like you hit the ham bone and then I hit the ham, like to praise Jesus. And
yeah, we're 2 months away from National. We'll be hanging out.
It is 2 months. I've got to get some entries for that giveaway, which ironically I did do. People don't know, but they'll be entered from one of my most recent polls. But if you didn't participate, you weren't entered. So hey, that's how it works.
Pay attention to.
I'm not going to tell people,
guys.
Right? I'm not going to say, hey,
yeah.
What do we have?
Please try to enter to win. Also, I just noticed there's Bible verses on my mug. I'm not trying to be overly religious, guys. I just grabbed literally the largest mug I could find in the kitchen to put coffee in it. So I'm not trying to preach at you or anything. If you're into it, great. If you're not, then no worries there. So we got Michael Ham. We got Orlando, A Collector's Dream. Great YouTube channel. Check him out. Great collection. Spokane Cole. What's going on? Contender Sports on Instagram. Check him out. What's going on, Contender Sports? Oh, the chat's moving on me. And guys, we do have a couple of topics that we've got planned, but if there's other things that you want to talk about, throw it in the chat. We're feeding off the chat today like a trough, like pigs in the trough. So feel free to throw in topics that you want to chat about. It's wide open tonight. Michael Stone, what is going on? No special guests tonight that I know of. We'll see, but I don't think so. We'll see. Pre-show meditation. Brandon, right? I didn't do any. I didn't have time to do any pre-show hot tubbing, so I'm not quite on my game tonight. I didn't get a chance to hot tub, meditate in the hot tub. I don't. Steve, did you? Did you get the hot tub fired up?
Well, it's fired up, but it'll be probably after live stream and then probably to bed. Like I've been up, honestly, when I said I've been busy, like I got up at 6 a.m. this morning and I've not stopped, like, as far as doing yard stuff, like yard work, a lot of landscaping today. But it's projects. It's stuff that I wanted to do to make the pool area look nicer and things like
those are
that.
feel good projects. I mean, at least it's I mean, and your house is awesome. So you're when we're coming up on summertime, entertaining time, you're going to want to have all that stuff done.
You know, some of it's the basic stuff that you got to do every week, but then some of it, you know, others of it is, you know, projects. Yeah.
We got Michael asking if you like the original or the new Top Gun Maverick the best.
Well, I can't remember who I watched the original Top Gun with. I think maybe my brother. But I know who I watched the other one with. And I would probably have to pick the first one just because of who I had to watch the second movie with. They made it terrible, but anyway.
Wait, was that me? Oh, it was me.
Yeah.
I saw that. I was thinking about it. I'm like, oh, damn, did I watch that with Steve? That's right. Well, you kind of thought the last part was cheesy. I've now watched that. I've now watched it maybe like 3 or 4 times with the kids, and it's kind of grown on me a little bit. Some of that cheese.
But, you know, the end of the first one kind of was cheesy too, right? Because everything always ends 100%. The good guys win. Oh, you're my best friend. And, you know, everything is all goody-goody at the end of like both of them. I thought the second one was like way over the top with some of the stuff that they had to do. Another great movie, by the way, over the top. But anyway, it was just way over the top with some of the things that they did, like breaking in. And if you haven't seen it by now, too bad. Spoiler alert. Like breaking in and stealing the other jet and all that nonsense at the end. But
yeah, it was kind of like Mission Impossible, like where the stuff that he's doing, you're like, okay, odds are that wouldn't happen like that.
But if you go back and watch the original now, you're like, man, a lot of this stuff doesn't seem cool anymore, right?
It's true.
So
that movie was groundbreaking back in the day. Philly Joe, what is going on, man? Good to see you. Jacob, I appreciate that. Thank you very much. Brad Spray Tan, always on a level 6, a PSA 6 level. You know, he's kind of naturally tan, though. I don't think that he really needs to spray tan. If I remember correctly, I think he just goes, well, also he spends like all day out in the sun. That's pretty much all that he does. I think like being a male model is mostly lifting weights, eating cookies at midnight based on his Instagram, and then, you know, tanning or whatever. So, yeah,
hey,
you know.
To wrap up the question about the Top Gun movie, now that I sat here and thought about it, well, I mean, if you think about it, the best parts about the second one was all the nostalgia stuff from the first one.
Right.
Having Tom Cruise, having, you know, Goose's son, and, you know, just all the stuff that they tied in from the first one is what were the best parts, in my opinion, of the second one. So then the first one must be the better one. Because if you remove all that stuff from the second one, it's probably just another movie, right?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, you see that. And that's what's interesting is it seems like all the good movies are pulling some nostalgia. The latest Ghostbusters that had Bill Murray and it had the whole cast in. The movie was okay, but then they pulled in the old crew, and that's what kind of, you know, made it all come full circle. I know did you see the new Flash movies got Michael Keaton's Batman in it? I mean, that's a callback, you know. I mean, so it's like they're all going back in time for that stuff. It's smart though. I mean, nostalgia wins the day. Appreciate that, Jacob. Yep. Shout out to SGC. The Tux is awesome. I love the Tux, especially, you know, with all the shiny refractor type cards, whether it be blue or yellow or whatever you've got. It just like that black and white matte. It just sits there nice and, you know, puts that card front and center. I agree with you. What's up, Jordan Hudson? Good to see you.
What's up?
The Pack Mojo mug. Yeah. Al, Iconic Baseball. Good to see you, man. I'm trying to stay on top of this. We're getting a lot of people coming over from your channel too, Steve. So that's good news.
That's right. That's right. You guys representing from my side. Let's go.
Absolutely. Thank you for that. Miami Mike.
Pull it back to the middle instead of being off-centered.
That's right. Oh, we got NBA basketball. I'm like, what's going on?
Miami Mike is all about the Heat, right? How's he feeling about the Heat's chances?
Is this going to be like a bubble part 2 where we've got Lakers Heat finals? Is that what we're looking at here? Is this like a bubble part 2?
I don't know. Are the Celtics playing tonight in Game 5?
Let me check. I thought they just lost last night to the Sixers.
They lost Monday. No, they lost Sunday to the Sixers. So Tuesday, yeah, they may have lost.
We got Heat Knicks. We got Lakers Warriors starting at 10. So we're going to be up against the Lakers Warriors elimination game in about 45 minutes. All good, though. All good.
So then the Celtics lost. Like, I didn't even pay attention last night. I usually only watch the game because it's on at work and because I was off work last night. If the Celtics were on, I didn't even know it.
Yeah, I think – was it a close one? I feel like they just
lost Sunday because Marcus Smart shot the ball at the buzzer and made it, but it was called off because time expired in overtime.
Unreal.
I don't know about
55. Good to see you. Yeah, Michael. Yes, me staying on top of the chat. Highly unlikely. I'm only 6 minutes behind though now, so we're not doing too badly. We're going to dive into a topic here. I'm going to see if I can just get through the chat and then we'll dive into a topic.
All right.
Rav Cards, what's going on? Why aren't OPG basketball cards more sought after? I picked up the Kobe and Jordan 97, so low pop, really rare it seems. I don't know a lot about OPG basketball from the 90s. It's not, is it one of those things where it's rare, but it's not, hobby relevant, which, is a lot of times crap. There's not a narrative behind it. I just don't know. I haven't heard him talked about. Do you know anything about the 90s OPG basketball stuff?
No, the only OPG that I knew was baseball in the 80s and 90s. But I didn't know that there was basketball.
Yeah, we do not know Spokane Cole. Maybe the chat can help out there. Recently picked up a Larry Bird Prism auto and a Kevin Garnett Illusions trophy case auto. 10. Okay, yeah. Gem Mint 10 by SGC. Very nice, very nice. Hoff Van Dam, good to see you. Yeah, I agree. Both Top Guns were very good. So it's kind of fun as my wife was born and raised in Italy. She hasn't seen a lot of these movies, and she had never seen Top Gun and then obviously never seen the new one. So we watched those back to back, going back a couple months. So she saw the 80s one for the first time, and then she saw the new one, and she thought it was really good. So I thought that's one thing that's kind of fun about watching movies with her. A lot of that 80s, 90s stuff, she didn't grow up with it. She was in Florence, Italy. So, or she watched the movie, but she saw it in Italian. And so she only remembers the storyline in Italian. So then she sees it in English and she's like, oh, that's how that translated over or whatever. So kind of funny. Tom Cruise, rookie from the 80s. I feel like if anybody would know it, Steve would. Is there any?
He has some cards and stickers from, I think it's maybe the late 80s or early 90s, actually. But I'm not sure which one is the first one. There's some cards of him in Top Gun gear, but then there's some of him that's just him, and they're like kind of out of the same set. So it's kind of like the sticker set has multiple different versions. So it would be like, which one would be the one that you would want? And it's all stuff that's printed. I think they might be Spanish, actually, printed in Spain. In this closet back over here, I probably have a couple because I have a bunch of stickers and it's stuff that's not graded. So it's not easy for me to access. It's like in boxes. So
interesting. Very cool. Jordan, is that a real question when the second one ever better than the first one? True. Yeah, I know. It's hard to pull that off. Hard to pull it off. Let's see some horrific plane crashes. Beverly Hills Cop 2. That's actually a good movie. You're right. You're right. Oh, Tremors. Yeah, Tremors and Critters. Go watch Critters and watch Tremors. Watch them back to back. Classics. Absolute classics. Tremor is awesome. Who was in? I'm trying to think the actors.
Is Kevin Bacon in that?
Kevin Bacon is in Tremors, and then the guy that was in Aliens and like Twister, is that the same guy? Bill Pullman.
Bill Paxton.
Paxton.
Bill Paxton. Yeah.
I might be wrong there. I might be wrong.
I'm not sure.
Mr. Strickland and Top Gun. I'm not interested. Fair enough, right?
First movie I remember Bill Paxton in was Chet in Weird Science. If anybody's seen Weird Science from like the 80s, he was like the older brother. That was like
Well, wasn't Paxton the only guy that's gone up against like an alien, a predator, and a Terminator or something like that?
Oh, maybe.
There's some meme. Yeah. Beetlejuice 2. I will be there opening night for Beetlejuice 2. I can't wait for it. I didn't see that. I saw a poster online, but I didn't know if that was a real thing or not. But it obviously has to be Michael Keaton. I hope that it's Michael Keaton. It's got to be. Can't be anybody else. Can't be anybody else. Hell, he's doing his Batman thing. He's like, hell, I'll go ahead and just do Beetlejuice. I'll just go and do all of them. Let's just go back through and
yeah. He's in Marvel also because he plays the Vulture. So it's like he's playing in DC and Marvel movies,
making those paychecks. Yeah, it's true, Michael Stone. There's just so much 80s nostalgia stuff. It's endless. The better half wants to see Fast X. Reluctantly, I'll probably go to see it. Is that Fast and the Furious 10? Is that what that is?
I haven't watched those. Maybe the first one.
I know. Fast and Furious I didn't keep up with, really. I stopped after like Tokyo, I think like the third one or something. Vin Diesel's starting to get he's it's like, is he really still that guy? I don't know.
Speaking of Vin Diesel, I saw the new Guardians of the Galaxy last night. That is one thing my wife and I went and saw a movie. We went and saw the new Guardians of the Galaxy last night. And last week we went and saw the Super Mario Brothers movie.
Saw the Mario Brothers movie. That was great.
I figured you probably had seen that.
Whole family went. Yeah, my mother-in-law had some sort of a hookup with a radio station where they were handing out like Luigi hats. So my youngest got a Luigi hat, and we went as a family to go see that. That was really good.
I thought it was funny. Like Bowser was super funny.
Oh yeah, Jack Black and the peaches. Yeah, we were
just the whole way he acted the whole movie, like thinking that Peach was going to fall in love with him like the whole time. It was like, oh man, it put like an adult twist on it,
John Williams is the Josh Allen guy. Kobe rookies are on sale. John Williams declares. Yeah, a lot of those base tops and the tops chrome, that stuff has come way back.
Everything's on sale.
Yeah, it's kind of true though. Do you want to speak to that a little bit of the everything on sale? Do you want to touch on kind of some of the stuff you've been looking at or bidding on?
Well, this was a video that was in the makings, but it may never get out. So I did well already this year on Jordan Love cards. We're not going to have that discussion again because we've talked about it. But I was going to do a video on how I like to spend my money when I score a win, when I score a win on somebody that I prospected on. And it was going to just be in general. It wasn't going to be 100% card related, but it was going to be something that I bought for my home. It was going to be a couple cards that I bought for my personal collection, and a percentage of that money that goes back into prospecting again. So whenever I come away with a win, I also like to put a percentage of that money back into my sports card money account. So I never will take a complete loss, even if the new player that I'm going to prospect on flops. So usually I like to buy something for my collection. This time I bought something for my home and something for my collection. So I kind of split that money in half. Basically I bought a Blackstone griddle to put outside in my barbecue area so I could cook outside hibachi style and things like that. Then I took some of it and I bought a card for my PC. It's laying over here. Let me see. I bought a Focus Frank Robinson. Okay, we lost focus because I moved, but
there it goes. Yeah, it's back.
Got the Frank Robinson 57 and a PSA 5. I got this on a good deal off Instagram. Somebody reached out to me because they knew that I was looking for one. And so that was for the PC / put away for a while cards. So I finally got the Frank Robinson. Not finally, like it's hard to hunt that card down, but it had the stuff that I want. Good centering, good surface. I was looking for a PSA 6, but I found a PSA 5 with good centering and good surface. Kind of like the way you were when you were looking for your Bart Star. You were looking for a certain grade, but then when you found one in a little bit of a lower grade that presented well, and you were able to get it at a little bit of a discounted price because it was a lower grade. And then I rolled some of that money back up into some more prospecting. And I'll just leave it at that because I don't talk that much about the players that I'm prospecting on anymore.
Right.
I used to just because I was like, hey, this is what I'm doing. This is it. I talk about the stuff that I'm actually buying, or I buy the stuff that I'm talking about. I don't just talk about it and pump it up. But you get too many people that want to accuse you of trying to pump stuff up. So I don't even say what I'm prospecting on anymore. So yeah, got some prospecting stuff here. Will tell you that the person that I'm prospecting on, one of them, is starting to get bought up. I don't know, somebody else out there is buying some of this same player, but a lot of the stuff on my watch list has been bought over like the last 3 days, not by me. So I'm like, okay.
Now, is there something new? Is there like
that's what I'm saying?
Or is it either just like,
there's been small news, but nothing significant.
Yeah.
Right. I'm waiting for something more significant, but enough to get someone else thinking about it. I'm not the only person that thinks about certain players for certain reasons. I'm not the only person prospecting on, other people prospect on the same players. For some reason or another, there's just less people probably prospecting on the couple people that I'm prospecting on.
Now, are you looking to have some stuff for the national just to add to the fun for that? Like, are you looking to have like some quarterback stuff just to have at the national for trade nights and stuff like that? Because honestly, I've thought about that too. Like maybe just grabbing a few items just for fun, like just to have it at the national for trade night.
Yeah, and I've touched on that before, but if the right time, if the time comes for me to move it, I'm not going to hold it just for the sake of holding it for the national. Like I told you, the Jordan Love stuff was going to be, all right, he's starting for the Packers. He's going to be hyped up at the national. But that hype started way earlier. It may be magnified come July because the season's getting closer. But, I didn't want to risk that. I just wanted to take my money while I could. And I rolled it into another player, and hopefully he has some buzz. The thing is that the player that I'm looking at right now needs a lot to happen for him, and he probably needs to play. Usually I don't like to hold players that need to play. I like to sell into the buzz and the hype and the news. But this one player is probably going to need to play. So, a little more risky than some others, but the price point is way better and the possible reward is there. So he's more risky as far as the things he needs to happen for him to get some love, but he's less risky because I'm not paying big prices for the cards.
Right. Yeah, I got you. To answer your question, Orlando, I'm going to let the national come to me this year and just kind of see. I know last year I went in with kind of specific targets. I think this year I'll probably have maybe like 15 or 20 cards that I'm open to depending on price point, and I'll make a list of those things. So I am semi-organized, but last year I really had set targets that I wanted to get. I want to go back to the well on Tom Brady stuff. But you know what? I'll probably wait until football season starts. It might not matter for his prices, but I just feel like, as you're leading up to the NFL season, not that he's playing or anything, and I'll keep an eye on his prices. I'm always watching a lot of his auctions, but I'll probably wait as we get a little deeper into like closer to holiday season and try to make a run. But I always am looking at those. And if something is at auction that goes for lower than what I think it should, I would like to continue to add on. That's really part of my, I've got my big Breeze card, and not to say that I wouldn't get some more decent size Breeze cards, but not at that level. The one that I just got, the Black Refractor rookie, but it would probably be more of stocking up on the Tom Brady stuff. I saw the comment about higher end grade, like in 10s, SGC 10s and PSA 10s and CSG 10s, as those come onto market, and prices move. If they do move down, his stuff it's never cheap, but that's really the guy that I would like to continue to kind of, he's a PC, but also long-term hold guy for me. So I don't know, for you, Steve, do you have any specific targets for the national, or what's kind of your Oh,
yes. If these cards, if I don't obtain them, before then. Now, and one of them I've been in auctions for, because I don't need to see it as much as I would like to look at the others, and that's a PSA 9 of 1981 Topps Joe Montana. I would like that in a PSA 9 with,
It's a great card.
Better eye appeal than some. There was one going on an auction the other night that went well, and it was on a PWCC auction, which I don't ever mess on PWCC hardly at all. If we talk about PWCC later, there is a point that I want to bring up. About something, but real quick, these cards, 39 play ball Ted Williams, I would like to get in a low grade, a PSA 1, 1948 Leaf Jackie Robinson. So those are two that I really want to look at, like I did the Willie Mays. And it won't be both. It'll be one or the other. I would prefer the Jackie Robinson first, but we'll see what happens. And the Montana card is not super hard to find. I guess there's like 2,000 in the population report for someone of his stature, and that being like his only rookie card. I think a PSA 9 is a good, solid card, considering the PSA 10s are unobtainable from a price point for me.
Yeah.
There's a card out there that I've always liked, and it's really come down in price if you can catch it on an auction, and that is 98 Bowman Chrome Refractor Peyton Manning. Those cards are going off at auction between like $500 and $600 in a PSA 9. Now, PSA 10s are still going to cost you like $3,500 to $5,000, but the 9s are going at like $500 to $600. That's a big differential when you're talking about that card being like a pop 200, and then the PSA 10s being like in the double digits for population. It's still a really low pop card. I know people think that there's a lot of them printed, but those refractors were tough to pull, and they were tough to pull in good condition. I think that for somebody, again, of his stature, when you're looking at the price, and people don't freak out and say that I'm comparing Peyton Manning to Tom Brady, but when you look at the price of a Bowman Chrome refractor of Tom Brady and you look at a Peyton Manning, I mean, a PSA 8 regular Bowman Chrome, not even a refractor of Tom Brady, sells for more money than a refractor PSA 9 of Peyton Manning. To put that in perspective, a Bowman paper PSA 8 also, I think, might. So you can't get a PSA 9 Bowman Chrome base of Tom Brady for like less than $1,500, probably $2K.
You think over time that's kind of like a mantle? Do you think over time that's kind of like a Mantle Willie Mays comparison? Price wise, I'm just talking about obviously different sports, not the same market and all that, but just Peyton Manning being probably just as good of a quarterback physically, mentally as Tom Brady, but just with all the added things that break with the championships, the Patriots, kind of like with Mantle being a Yankee. I'm talking like down the road, 20, 30 years down the road. Is it that? Do you think it's kind of a similar scenario?
Well, I mean, Brady's just like the GOAT, right? He's got too many titles. But for that era, I mean, the best quarterback usually on the field was Peyton Manning. I know a lot of times you measure wins and losses, or quarterback success by wins and losses, and Manning lost a lot of big games, but he won a lot of games, period. He did get some titles. He's not Tom Brady when it comes to to history and things like that, but Peyton Manning will stay relevant for a while just because he's well-liked. He's on television. So unless some skeletons come out of his closet or something, I don't see really him ever like falling out of favor with the hobby. So that card, I'm not going to say it should be worth what a Tom Brady is worth, but I just think that there's a lot of disparity between the prices, especially when you're looking at pop counts. It's just a card that I accidentally saw that seemed to fall down in a bargain. I wasn't even hunting for it. It's just a card that I wanted even during the peak. At the peak, I was like, man, it's an expensive card. And then some auctions running the other night that I missed, and I was like, that card ended for like $500 and something. Like, I would have bought that for that much. Now, if you try to go on eBay and get a buy it now, you're not going to get it for that price. But you got to get in on the auctions. But maybe that's a card I can get at the National. I mean, there's a BGS 9 with good subgrades sitting on eBay right now for 800, buy it now or best offer. So if I really wanted one right now, I would throw an offer at that BGS 9. But I just think it's a good safe card to buy at that type of price. He was a 5-time MVP. Nobody's ever done that. Aaron Rodgers has won 4. I think Jim Brown won 4 as a running back, maybe. But
yeah, there's no doubt. Tie in the you had a PWCC thought. Why don't you just tie that in now while we're talking about it?
Oh yeah, so the PWCC thought. So PWCC was having the layoffs. I know this because of other videos or whatever. I don't know 100% of the details because I didn't really research it because I don't do a video on it. I just know what I hear. I don't know what their standing is as a business. I don't know if they're still going to be around for a long term, if they're in trouble. I really don't know. I don't know what their bottom line is. But a thought that I had was PWCC, they put a additional grade on, say, a vintage card or any card. Usually it's a vintage card, of their opinion, of what the condition is, what the eye appeal is. They give it an eye appeal grade if they think it's a top 15%, top 10%. They put an additional grade on it. And those cards, whether people like it or not or agree with it or not, for the most part, those cards do draw a bit of a premium over something that doesn't have a PWCC eye appeal additional grade on it. And this is not a pitch for PWCC, because my question is that if PWCC was to be no more, would those additional eye appeal grades be obsolete at that point? Are they important now? And do people look at them now and say, hey, that card's going to get a premium because PWCC says the eye appeal is top 15%? And it happens. It does. I watch auctions on vintage cards all the time. But what if PWCC was to be gone in 10 years from now? Does your PWCC additional eye appeal grade still hold the value that it holds today for a company that may no longer be around?
Is it their grade or is it the Mike Baker thing?
No, not the Mike Baker is a whole different thing. They put like an A or an E or something like sticker on the back.
Okay.
And they will draw anywhere from 20 to 40% sometimes additional. And it could just be a marketing ploy by them. Of course, they're going to try to get the max money out of all their auctions, whether they're throwing some marketing gig on there or if they're shilling or whatever they're doing. I don't know. Not a PWCC person. But I've seen those cards. I've owned an Oscar Robertson 61 Fleer, and I sold that at the Atlanta show, and it had one of those PWCC secondary opinions on it. And I was able to use that also to sell that one for more. So I've had firsthand experience selling one. But what I'm saying is, if I buy a card now, and I'm like, wow, that has a PWCC modifier on it. It's going to go for a little bit more than a basic auction. It's going to hold a little bit more value because a majority or a lot of the market sees it as being more valuable with that sticker on it. But what happens a year, 2, 3 from now, if PWCC isn't around, that extra money that you spend on that card for that secondary opinion, well, at this point, it's a third opinion because the grading company's already looked at it. My question is, does it now become obsolete? Do people, do you say, well, this, if I'm trying to sell one, do I say, well, PWCC said that this is top 15% eye appeal? Is someone going to look at that and say, oh yeah, you're right? Or is somebody going to look at that and say, who gives a shit about PWCC? They no longer exist. There is people who will say that now. I get it. But I'm talking about a higher percentage of people.
It's like, will the hobby recognize it or not recognize it? And that's the part I guess we don't know. It's a risk, though. You're right. I mean, it's a risk.
Right. And the thing is, and I know a lot of people in the comments are going to say that's silly, it's a stupid, it's a gimmick. And I get that. I understand that. There's lots of silly, gimmicky things in the hobby that we don't necessarily agree with or think add value to something. but there's a lot of people that do because everybody doesn't think alike. But I'm just wondering if it changes it to shift to where more people look at it as if they don't really care. I mean, to me, I like my own eye appeal. Like I showed a Frank Robinson rookie card earlier. It had what I said specifically. I said this has what I'm looking for in a vintage card. I don't care if it has what motorcycle. I don't have.
Motorcycle
I don't care if it has what PWCC is looking for in a card. I care that it has what I'm looking for in a card. I'm just bringing this up as a hypothetical question because people will spend or will put premiums on them right now. I'm just wondering if it's something that draws a premium if PWCC was to.
Yeah, that's an interesting take. Travis is hitting you up. Are you interested in partnering up and buying collections, vintage collections, 55 to 60? Is that your possibly, Travis? Possibly.
I mean, it all depends, on how much work is involved, because anytime I buy bulk, I consign. Or when I want to sell, and bulk to me is 20 cards. If I want to sell 20 cards, I'm going to consign that 20 card lot. That's just me. I'm very limited on what I can do with my time.
Yeah.
I'm not buying Jameis Winston. I'm not buying Jameis Winston.
Jameis Winston.
I'm not buying anyone who ever donned the Tampa Bay Buccaneers uniform, and that includes Vinny Testaverde, that includes Tom Brady, that includes Doug Williams.
I've got Doug Williams.
It includes Steve Young. I'm not buying Steve Young. That includes Brad Johnson. That includes Keyshawn Johnson.
This one, so we won't be wandering around as much. That was Atlantic City, J. Mai. So Steve was kind of like, he knew his way around supposedly around Atlantic City, and that's how we just kept walking forever.
Look, that's an urban legend. That story that Neo tells is an urban myth. I can't help it if 3 blocks feels like 3 miles to Neo. That's not fair. My fault.
The guy needs a wheelchair to go 3 blocks, to be honest. But in Rosemont, Chicago, it's all right there. Like there's food nearby. So I think the thing though is there's going to be a ton of people there though. So it's going to be waiting to get into places or whatever. I mean, it's going to be crazy.
I'm already being like, okay, I'm gonna spend one day at the card show and I'm gonna spend all the other 4 nights like just doing other stuff.
Really?
No, I'm just kidding. But I got you to say really. No, maybe, I don't plan on spending as much time at the show. I say that now.
Yeah, you're lying.
I say that now, but I don't feel like I'm going to spend as many hours in the show on a per day basis. Because sometimes I'll go to the show when it opens and I'll leave when it starts to close.
Yeah.
Walking by the same, but.
We'll be doing a lot of visiting with people though, too. Like my wife's going to be with me. We'll be walking around, talking, chatting up, talking with a lot of people. So I'll be looking at cards, but I mean, it's also a huge just get together event as well. John Williams. Oh, we got the Fields, the Justin Fields pump in the chat. They're back again. Steve is not sold on Fields.
I mean, I feel like, I just feel like I don't want to pay Patrick Mahomes prices for Justin Fields.
Fair.
I'm
looking for a day. I can't wait for the day when Mahomes prices come back to where I can actually buy some of those cards. I used to have a lot of Mahomes and just sold them all off, but
shit, I don't want to pay Peyton Manning prices for Justin Fields. You realize this was another video, but I just can't put videos out where I was talking about some cards that I thought were good values right now, this Peyton Manning card being one. And I started doing some research and I'm looking, you can get a Joe Burrow Prism PSA 9 for that price, a Justin Herbert PSA 9 Silver Prism for that price. It's like,
hold on 1 second, Steve. We have to shout out. So Vintage Sports Shack, I appreciate you doing your marketing bit, but you're called Vintage Sports Shack. And then right here, you have Vintage Sports Shack says flipping with Steve is buying Jack. Now, if you're saying he's not buying Jack, then that's obviously not true and kind of a slight. But I know in my comment section, you always just put like Vintage Sports Shack in Indiana. So I know you're marketing yourself. Fair enough. But if you're saying that he's not buying Jack, then you got to watch it. You got to watch that because Not cool.
I'm actually trying to think if I'm buying any players named Jack so that I can prove.
I know. Well, that's where I thought he might be going, and then I can't figure out which QB is named Jack that it could be. So just a quick warning there for Vintage Sports Shack.
Mehoff. Oh, no, that's not anymore.
Jared Goff. We got Michael Stone saying Jared Goff. Steve's got a couple of Jared Goffs. I thought about buying.
Yeah, I do have a couple Jared Goff cards. I didn't really, I got 3 nice Jared Goff cards off the jump a couple months ago because I had showed those, and I've only picked up 1 Jared Goff since then. It's actually right in front of me. But this isn't one of the players that I'm prospecting on. I mean, really, right now at this point in his career, are you prospecting on Jared Goff, or are you just hoping that he plays that the Lions do well? Right? He was a pretty good quarterback last season by the numbers, and if the Lions can go into the playoffs, then maybe he rekindles some of his hobby love. A lot of people missed it. Unless you were a fantasy football player last year, you kind of maybe missed the season that Jared Goff had because the Lions didn't make the playoffs. But this is a quarterback that's been to the Super Bowl before. I got a blue 2017 blue prism PSA 10.
It's cool.
I love 2016. I'm sorry. I think I said 17. But it's good because it's the blue prism, kind of a color match, serial numbered. And, it was a good price. I'm not going out and spending high dollars on Jared Goff. I'm just buying Jared Goff for the right price. It's kind of the game plan for lots of stuff, right?
Mm-hmm.
Might be something that you're not targeting, and you'll see it, and for the right price, you're like, well, for that price, I'll buy it.
No, absolutely. I'm with you. It's all about the price point. Speaking of price point, Josh Rosen stuff is pretty cheap. Is he still in the league, though? I mean, is he on a roster somewhere? I don't know.
No, I don't think so.
Yeah,
I own one Josh Rosen card.
I've got, I think, a couple of his auto cards. And I remember, too, a lot of folks were saying when he was coming out of UCLA that he was the best quarterback coming out. It just shows you that there's just like nobody knows a damn thing about these guys coming out of school. Like it's just such a hit or miss thing. How could you compare to Tom Brady? Yeah, Bob's coming. Of course. Still a 9, though. The price difference is justified. I think he's going back to that Bowman Chrome Manning. I don't know if it is. It really depends on the pop report. 3,500, 3,000, 3,500 for a 10, $500-$600 for a 9. That's a pretty big delta. So yeah, we're talking going back to the Bowman. Was it Bowman Chrome Manning?
Yeah, I'm just talking about the affordability of it. I'm not saying, hey, a 9 should be worth divisible of 3 of a 10. I know that stuff doesn't exist anymore, but I'm talking about if you want a nice copy of one of the best quarterbacks to ever play, one of his nicer cards, $500 to me sounds like a nice card that's not flooded in the market.
The problem with this, Brendan, nowadays with PSA, you crack a PSA 9, you send it back in to get a 10, and you get a 7 or an 8. So it's risky. Yeah, it's a little risky these days. Bills have added insane offensive weapons. Yeah.
Man, I've heard so much about Josh Allen. They got friends at work that like the Bills, and I get the tissues out for him every year.
Bob coming in. Bob with his own wife jokes. I think it's always coming in with his own wife jokes.
Brutal.
The fat wife. My wife is fat jokes. Bob always comes with those. All right. Which one of you was the model again? Between Steve and I, we're both models, of course. Jason. Cards and Comics, great YouTube channel. Check him out. PWCC Vault, slightly more stable than a high-end jewelry store in downtown Chicago. PWCC IPL stickers only apply to 86 and earlier. They definitely go for a premium from what I've seen. Yeah. And I guess the question is, would they – I mean, and even if PWCC is still in business and all that, will that continue to – I mean, like it's just so finicky. All this stuff is very, very finicky. It's like the Mike Baker stickers.
Right. I think as long as they have hobby relevance, which means they have a platform and things like that, it will mean something. But I'm just curious as to be like, and I'm not speculating or saying, hey, PWCC is going bankrupt. I don't know what the hell is going on over there. I was just throwing a hypothetical thought out there because as someone who's looking to buy cards, especially stuff that is going to pertain to eye appeal, do I want to pay money? You know, do I want to pay a premium on a card that they've put a third opinion or, well, I guess a second opinion on from a grader? I mean, I guess the first opinion is me. The second opinion is a grading company. The third opinion is whoever that third party opinion is. But,
Yeah.
you know, I mean, I was looking at 81 Topps Joe Montana cards. I guess I was looking at them earlier. I was looking on eBay and I was like, well, wonder if PWCC has any there that are about to go off. And, you know, I never looked at PWCC prices until I started using 130 point again for comps, and I realized that they don't just price eBay sales now. They show PWCC and MySlabs and I think Heritage. They show multiple different platforms now on 130 point when you're comping your cards. And I was seeing where PWCC prices at some points were like going lower than eBay prices. And then I saw Montana that sold for quite a bit more. And I was like, why did that one sell for so much more than the rest? What's the outlier here? I was like, was it shield or was it legit? But the others weren't shield. The others were selling for right about what comps are going at. And then when I went and looked at the description of the auction, it had like an E on it for their additional eye appeal grade. And I saw where it went for probably about $800 more than what the regular auctions were going for about $1,500. And this one went for like 23 or 24, you know, almost $1,000 more. And I was wondering why.
Yeah, that's yeah. I don't know. I kind of agree with Jason here. It's just, I don't know if it's, I mean, it depends on the premium, I guess. I think what it boils down to is it actually a card that is kind of like, what does the card look like? And does it fit the bill? Probably more so than their sticker is, does the card look, you know, is it a better looking 9 than other 9s, better looking 10 than other 10s?
You know, but the thing is that in a world of where a lot of transactions are done online, people probably trust that. It gives them another feel good. I can buy this online without looking at it myself, because I just said that there's cards like the Jackie Robinson and like the Ted Williams. Those cards, I want to look at them. I don't want to buy them online because there's going to be blemishes on them. I'm going to be buying low grade and there's going to be blemishes, and I want to see the creases. I want to see the wrinkles. I want to see where they're located. I don't want to buy a card that looks good in a scan, and when I get it home, it has a wrinkle across the player's face, you know? So I think in a world of where there's lots of online transactions, that people look for that second layer of, this makes me feel better about spending my money, right? So, but if you're going to shows and getting out and looking at stuff for yourself up close, it probably doesn't hold as much value as, say, in a showcase at a show as it does to someone who's buying something online, if that makes any sense. I mean, that's the way that I'm thinking about it. But again, trying to make sense of some things these days, just whatever.
I had a guy, this is random. I'm going to throw it in here though. I had a guy reach out to me that his 2 kids that have really, really rare conditions, illnesses. And he sent me, you know, I was like, well, what are your, you know, what kind of cards do you like? He was, I won't get into all the stuff he was talking about, but he threw out a couple of his Grail cards, and one of them is on auction right now, ends in 10 minutes. So in 10 minutes, if I look a little preoccupied, I'm going to try to win the card so that I can give it to this guy. Because it's like, you know, just unbelievable what he and his family have been going through. It's absolutely nuts. So hopefully that'll lift his spirits. We'll see what happens. I'll keep the chat posted if I do win that card. GAI used to grade packs, no longer in business, yet retain value long after because of trusted consistency. Interesting. Yeah, that's kind of good to know. Even companies that are out of business, you know, I mean, good to know that that still matters to some degree. Oh, here comes Bob. My fat wife is starting a grading company. She's grading unopened candy and snack food. She is quite the expert. Whew. Whew. I had eBay Authentication recently say one of my purchases have been customized bought the auto version, but they confused it with the non-auto version, incorrectly assessed it. Yeah, I mean, the eBay authenticity, they'll send it back if the listing is wrong. You know, I mean, if the title is wrong, they'll say they won't authenticate it. Even if they put like, you know, it's number 4 out of 10 and it's number 7 out of 10. You know, I mean, that'll kick it back a lot of times.
Yeah, and it looks like it was a mistake on eBay's behalf where they, according to that, looked like they wrongfully assessed a card.
Yeah, it's a good point with authentication. Authentication is really number one in this game, the grading game. It's all about, because a lot of us, kind of the video I made today was there's been a huge shift. I mean, Steve, you probably agree, you know, going back a few years when we were flipping all sorts of base cards and, you know, parallels that really weren't very, very rare. There's been a massive shift over to more rare stuff. I mean, you can just see it. I mean, just going to card shows, you know, you see display cases that have a variety of different things. And there's a heavy focus. I mean, I don't remember seeing very many, you know, Zion Prism based PSA 10s. You know, I haven't seen those in showcases for a year, you know, in volume. I mean, it's been a while, really. And I'm not talking about just specifically Zion, but just any base Prism PSA 10. You just don't see them. So it's interesting how it's kind of shifted. Craziest national ever, because you're going to be there, Mike, with Steve. It's going to be busy. Yeah, it's going to be really, really busy. Oh, man. Shout out to Allen, Texas, which is about 45 minutes outside of Dallas where the show is. There was a shooting out there. Hopefully all the locals are okay out there. But, yeah, I haven't been to the Dallas show since I met Steve going back almost 2 years now. That, believe it or not, that was 2 years ago. That's the first time I met him.
Yeah.
That's the one and only time I've ever been to that Dallas show, but it's just been consistently good over time. Are you going to Dallas anytime soon, Steve?
No, I'm just not. I mean, I would like to. I mean, there's lots of stuff I would like to do. Like, again, you know, time is something that I don't have a whole lot of extra to do. You know, going to like a Dallas card show would require taking off work, you know, to fly out there and do that.
Yeah.
You know, if I could drive to the show and, you know, that would be cool. But going to Dallas for me is like setting up a mini vacation. So it's not just like, you know, I'm not like these vloggers that just fly around and buy and sell and flip cards and that's it.
And they're not paying us to fly out there. I don't know if the vloggers get paid, you know, the accommodations, but Steve and I do not get the accommodations. Maybe we need to start working it a little bit harder. It just does not happen. So Bob Boozle bait and tackle to pick up some trouts and salmons. Nice. Love it. MW is talking about Rui. You still have any Ruis left, Steve?
Consigned all of them.
Yeah.
Right about the time that he got traded to the Lakers. I didn't wait for him to play. Didn't do that bad, but you figure those cards had just taken a basic market hit with everything else.
I don't know about grading fatigue, Bob. We saw last month 1.2 million cards by PSA, SGC at 100,000. I mean, grading cards is at all-time highs. So I don't know. I'm not really seeing that fatigue. I guess the question is there, you know, folks are grading all these cards. Are they able to resell for those that are looking to flip and move those cards? And I'm sure that probably works itself out over the next few months, you know, from all the grading, but yeah. I don't know.
The next comment from Vintage Card Collector, we have Crazy Kev, and then you have Vintage Card Collector 948. Yeah, this is kind of what I was talking about with people feeling a sense of security, I guess. You know, for people who are a little less experienced, you know, that extra graded sticker or whatever gives them like an extra blanket of security. This is kind of what he's kind of, I think, along the same lines of what I was talking about.
Yeah. Have you guys noticed PSA damaging cards in any of your orders? I'd say 10% of my cards come back with damages. Cards they damage. I have done limited grading with PSA some. I haven't had any issues yet, but again, very low sample size. I've never dealt with that at this point. Have you, Steve, on any of your stuff?
I haven't graded a card with PSA since November. And I've never had an issue where I sent a card to PSA and then got it back and was like, this damage wasn't there when I sent it off. I've once, twice, maybe 3 times have disagreed with a grade where I sent in a card and it got it back and was surprised. However, in one of those cases, I snapped to that card to look at it and realized that I had missed a surface dimple. So that error was on me. So a lot of times people are like, oh, I sent this card in and it was an optic. There's no way optic should not be getting a good grade out of the pack. And I snapped it and I was like, damn, I missed this here. And I used that card. It was a Josh Allen card. I used that card in the Buffalo Wing video with the hot sauce and the ranch. I don't know if anybody remembers that video or not.
Yeah,
I was showing people how to fix surface blemishes. The figure on a card that had surface blemishes.
Speaking of, what's your thoughts on the trimming stuff? We were going to dive in. That was one of our topics. You just recently bought a vintage card, lower grade though. So, I mean, not something that probably was trimmed, but what's kind of your overall thought? Does it change anything that you're doing? Because I know that you bought that maze. You've talked about buying more vintage stuff. You've been looking at it. You mentioned the Ted Williams play ball. Does it change anything? Because it's not obviously it's not a new topic,
right?
But just I guess with Mathis coming out and being very open about it and it being fresh in your mind, what do you think?
As far as affecting me, I'm buying low grade. If something is trimmed and passes the eye test or the grade test, it's more than likely it's grading higher than the stuff that I can afford to buy. That's the whole reason why it's being doctored, is because Spritzels. Was that Spritzels?
That's old Spritz.
That wasn't Crazy Daisy's passed out right here. We get her in a minute.
I wish Spritz could do act like Daisy, but Spritz is just crazy all the time.
But yeah, anyway, so it's not going to affect me personally. And I've seen mixed reactions to the whole thing. Honestly, I don't believe you should do any altering to a card as far as trimming or putting a hot press on it. I mean, it's good for comic books, but any kind of restoration or any kind of altering, because, as far as restoration goes, I guess there could be certain things that could be used on the surfaces of cards to like restore color and things like that. But I would prefer not. I would prefer to have the card in its original state, but that's just me. And again, it's not going to affect me because if something does pass the test that's been altered or doctored, more than likely it's grading better than a 2, right? So, and that's where I'm buying. That's where I'm looking to buy cards, even in 1s on some of these. Now you figure a Jackie Robinson 48 leaf in a 1 or a 1.5 is still going to cost you at least $5,000. So it's like,
that's wild. I mean, that's nuts. That is nuts. Jay Mai added that BGS, there's big news here. BGS has added a 5th subgrade smell test.
Smell test.
That's really what's going to separate them, I think, moving forward. BGS making a huge comeback with the smell grade, the smell test.
The scratch and sniff. Just be careful not to scratch the surface.
There you go. You should be in the marketing. I'm afraid I haven't read this yet. I just put this up on the screen, so hopefully Bob's not going to embarrass me here.
Beckett needs to get like electronic submission for your cards before they do anything. Like I feel like every time I send to Beckett, I have to print out a piece of paper and fill it out with an ink pen and put my wrong address on it.
I looked at sending them a submission going back about 6 months maybe. There's a few cards that I thought would be good for them, but just going through their site, even though they've updated their site, it was still difficult for me. It was like, tell us about your cards, type it in. And I was like, it just took me forever to like actually type in, figure out, add it in, figure out all the added charges. I was just like, forget it. I'm just not going to do this. I was like, God, this sucks. Wonder how long Pokemon will retain its dominance in grading. As far as Pokemon cards, Brendan, the number of Pokemon cards being graded is insane. I agree with you there. It's basically half of PSA's business now. Almost half of PSA's business are Pokemon cards. Well, TCG Pokemon, but Pokemon dominating that. I agree. I mean, look, they're making a lot of sets and people are buying them. They're selling. So I guess we'll have to see. But Pokemon is carrying the load here for, it's not just sports cards that people are grading.
Pokemon.
Bush Leaguers has a hard take on PSA. Victor, trimming is bad, just bad. We can agree there. They can print 1 billion Pokemon cards, but can the grading companies grade 1 billion of them? They're going to try. They're going to try, Bob. They're not backing down to the challenge. That's for sure. Bay Area guy, what's going on? Friend sent in cards just a month ago. When he got to see his first few of the cards he sent, they've been mishandled and showed some damage. I do think it's something that you'll see from all grading companies. There will be damage that does happen. It's just PSA's grading such, they're grading 1 million cards plus a month. It's probably going to happen more with them just based on the volume that they're grading. What's going on, Global? Good to see you, man. Hope all is well down under, my friend. Oh, shoot. I just missed this. No.
What's that?
No.
All right, quick question for the chat.
Damn it.
Super simple. No right or wrong here. Just tell us what was the last card that you bought, whether for PC. If you bought it for PC, tell it what it is and say it was PC. If you bought it because you're trying to flip it, tell us what it is. And if you bought it to flip. So tell us what you bought and why you bought it. Just quick, though. It doesn't have to be a long paragraph. Card, PC, or flip. Because I've been doing both. So I'm just curious what you guys are doing too.
I was trying to bid on that card for the guy, and I missed it by a minute, and it ended. So the search continues.
Oh. So the search, it's a tough card to come across?
It's not like crazy rare, but it was at auction at a good price, and it looked like it ended at a good price. So I'm just going to wait for another auction to come. Hopefully it's not too long, but that stinks. Had a shot at it there. Hopefully the technology and techniques evolved where they begin to weed these altered cards out. Well, and the problem though is that it's, based on what Evan Mathis was saying, is you've got kind of a cabal of people that have been doing it over time. And look, I mean, we saw a year ago, there was Trey Lance stuff that was trimmed, that was in PSA holders. I mean, there's going to be trim cards that make it into holders, but those Trey Lance cards are like 18 months old. Like those are brand new cards that are being trimmed. So it's out there. Yeah. The one advice I think that they did have that I've seen consistent is like, does the card rattle in the holder? If you've got if there's like a lot of rattle, then maybe there's a chance at some trim. There's a chance. It doesn't necessarily mean that it is, but carbon dating will be a thing. I think that's what Brad's trying to do right now is some carbon dating over there in LA. He got back to me. I tried to get him on the stream. I streamed last night for a few minutes, and he got back to me like an hour after we went off, but almost got Brad on for a little little hinge date catch up last night. If the new CEO of Beckett has a rat tail hairstyle, then I know that they're turning that ship around immediately. That'll be if he's got a mullet or something, then we're going back to 1988. We're back. We are back.
We have them coming in hot with recent purchases are coming in hot.
Driving in a red Fiero.
Oh yeah. Right. 2-seater.
Am I way? Okay. So I'm only.
They're just coming in hot. Like I asked a question and everybody's answering.
Caesar, what's going on? Oh, Bush Leaguer is kind of an interesting point. You think there's a big bubble in sports cards? Wait until you see what's going to happen in Pokemon. Is there a bubble in Pokemon? It's an interesting take because with all these new products just selling out, people paying a lot on the secondary market, and they are printing a lot of Pokemon cards. So, You might have a point there, Bush Leaguers. You might have a point. Mahomes cracked ice rookie PC. What were you asking, Steve? What's your favorite card?
No, I asked it, their last purchase and if it was for PC or if it was for like a potential flip. So his answer is Mahomes cracked ice for the PC. Is that like a Contenders cracked ice or something? Because that is a big card. Kobe,
the PC for Caesar. Caesar is hiding behind his Pepino Man. He's actually the Pepino Man.
Oh,
all right, Steve, let's shift gears real quick. What were your thoughts overall on King of Collectibles? Actually, wait, before you answer, let's pull in. Wait, we got Ken Golden. We got Ken Golden on the show.
Blindsided.
How you doing, man? We can barely hear you. You're a little bit low on the volume. No worries. No worries. Absolutely. Ken Golden with a cameo appearance. Check out Simon466 Cards. That is another great YouTube channel. Check him out. I don't want to say what card it was, Simon. I was just mentioning it earlier. There's a guy that he shared that he's got kids that have really tough illnesses, and he's got a couple of Grail cards. And I was just bidding on one of them. I want to win it. I want to win one of them for him to send to him, but I missed it. I was talking and I missed the damn thing. So my bad there, but
it's my fault. I was talking to you and distracted you.
Steve blew it for me.
I'll take the blame.
I want to give. I'm with this guy. You know, just being a dad of 4, I want to get this. I want to get one of those cards for him. So, yeah.
There's all lots of cards coming, but there is one that says 1870s Stooks baseball cards and curiosities at 10:04. If you happen to have IG, show me a picture of that card. I'm interested in this, seeing what it is. 1870s George Washington and family.
And the
sounds like something pretty cool. Yeah,
I'll get down to it. I see it. Darth Vader rookie. What is that?
Is that the 77 tops?
Yeah, I think.
And then there's also the 77 Wonder Bread, if you like that.
2020 Select Tricolor T. Higgins at a 199. That's a cool card.
T. Higgins.
Are the Bengals? I feel like Joe Burrow he's gonna make. I think he's pissed about that Mahomes loss. I think he's gonna be back. All right. The king of collectibles is with us.
Is this any better?
I can hear you perfectly.
Okay, great. It's the Bluetooth. Let's hope it works.
All right, Ken, thanks for joining. How was I saw on IG Paul's baseball season looking pretty strong. Your son.
It's crazy. We came back from baseball. I think the team's record is 20-4. Tonight was just a blowout, 22-3. I think they won. Wow. And I told him I was going to be doing this, and I said, you've got to come on because we're going on. He's like really loves YouTube. Okay, loves YouTube, watches everybody, including you. And I said, I've got to bring you on because he's a sports card dad, but I'm the sports card dad and you're the sports card son. So we've got to do it together, but everything ran late and he's in bed, passed out. So I'm here doing it myself, but no, it was good. He was MVP of a major tournament, and I'm getting recruiting calls from all these 10-year-old teams that want my 9-year-old son to play for them now.
Well, we're going to be buying Paul prospect cards.
That's what people say. Yeah. I have to save his jersey.
That's awesome, man. All right, King of Collectibles. The show is on fire. I've watched all of it. The one thing I've got a few questions for you, but the big one is you guys had some awesome items there. Were there certain items, or I guess scenes maybe that were cut out that you wish that were left in, or just stuff you could have added in?
Sure. I mean, what you have to realize is we filmed enough for like 10 episodes. So there was a lot of stuff that I thought, especially stuff that I was in, and I was really annoyed. I had a newly discovered T206 Wagner that was cut, which I'm like, how the hell can they do this? People complain to me that, hey, there's no comic books, but there were. I had an Action #1 and I had a Detective 27 first appearance of Batman. That was cut. You know, they what people have to realize, and this is what my executive producers told me. You have to realize my executive producers, just so people understand. I had the guy who came up with the idea for my show was Connor Shell. He came to me at the end of 2020 and said, we have to do a TV series. Now, Connor Shell's pedigree, he's not a known name like Peyton Manning, but he was the head of production for ESPN. So he created the 30 for 30 series, and he created The Last Dance. If you look at The Last Dance, he's the executive producer. He's the creator of the most famous and popular sports documentary of all time. So if he tells you something, you're going to listen. A lot of people came to me about a TV show before. I said, no. He came to me. I said, okay. Then the other guy is Brent Montgomery. People say it has a little bit of a Pawn Stars look. Well, because the creator of Pawn Stars is Wheelhouse, and that's one of my executive producers. And of course, the third is Peyton Manning. But they told me, listen, Ken, the goal in doing these type of series are to get renewed. Netflix wants to look at you as an annuity, you know, as something that they can do for the next 5 years, the next 10 years, if I want to do it, you know, like their version of Pawn Stars. So what you have to do is get past season 1. Let us help you, let us guide you through season 1 to reach as wide an audience as possible. And once you're picked up, you know, then you're going to be doing it for many years, and then you can make it more the show that you want to make it. And that's why we had Beanie Babies, and that's why we had all these other things that appeal to people of all around the world, and of all countries, and men and women. And I think it's been successful. There is one thing I want to say, because I do watch a lot. I do watch some of the better YouTubers on sports cards to get content, to see what they're thinking, like yourself. And somebody did make a comment on a review of yours, which I appreciated your review. But they said every new show of Netflix gets in the top 10. That is such a crock of crap. When we did the show, my executive producer says we're too much. We're a niche show. We're too small of a market. We're never going to get in probably the Netflix top 25. And I said, something, I would love to get just one day in the top 10, and I'd be happy. And we ended up getting top 10 of 12 different countries. Absolutely not. We're up against big budget shows like Wednesday, Better Call Saul, Sweet Tooth, Firefly Lane. We were finally kicked out of the top 10 when Queen Charlotte came on, which is I've never watched Bridgerton's, but I guess it's very popular, and it's a spin-off of Bridgerton. But that's when we got lost. But we were in the top 10 of 12 different countries for a week. So hoping for a quick renewal.
I thought it was great. It showed kind of how diverse Golden Auction is as far as the different types of items, because when I think of you guys, I do think mostly of sports cards and sports memorabilia, and it showed just a broad range, which was really cool. Did you see any kind of was there an added obvious boost to your business just, from other collectibles like that because people saw it?
I listen, without divulging too much, if you are a consigner of Golden right now, you are very happy. I started the business in 2012. So it's 2023. This is our 11th year now. Our user base in the first week after Netflix. Now remember, this is not like you just bid and that's it. To be a registered user of Golden, you have to give us all your information. You have to give us a credit card. If you're not from the United States, you have to give us a government ID, a passport, or a driver's license from that country. Our user base at Golden, the first 7 days after Netflix hit, increased 25%, which means that in 1 week, I accomplished what I did probably in the past 3 years of my business. If you look at our Google traffic, we have 12 to 15 times as many people on our website right now than we would have any other ordinary Wednesday night. It's the last weekly auction, we set a record number of bids. We had a record number of bidders. We had everything. So yeah, no, and I've got people contacting me with the craziest stuff like I would never get, like fine art, cars, dinosaur fossils, and anything you can possibly imagine. They're all contacting us because of the show. So it gives us an unbelievable reach. So yeah, I think it's going to be, it is a huge boost to my business, but I think, as a overall effect, it's going to have an effect on the entire business, because guess what? The first thing somebody buys might be from Golden, but after that, they're going to be on the internet. They're going to say, oh, I like this card, or I like this autograph. Where else can I find it? And it's really, a great thing for the entire industry. Yeah,
agreed. I'm going to ask the most obvious question. I mean, now that you're a Netflix sensation, when are we going to see you opposite The Rock in the newest action movie? Is Ken Golden now a Hollywood A-lister?
No, I don't. People tell me. I mean, I was talking to TV Guide, and they're doing a story on us. It's coming out next week, and they were said, "How are you? Are you prepared to be walking down the street?" Actually, they said, "Is your wife prepared to be walking down the street in Philly or in New York with you and have somebody come over to you and take a picture?" And I said, "No, I don't think that's going to happen." But we'll see what happens. As I say, literally, and the one thing, people who know me, anybody who sat through a Ken Golden sales pitch to try and get a consignment will say one thing: that Ken is playing himself in this show. What I told the guys with the triple logo man is what I told the guys with the triple logo man. What I said to the guy trying to get him to lower his reserve on the Jackie jersey is what I said to the guy trying to, and that negotiation with Jim Taubenfeld, he's like the toughest client I have. He was like a pain in the ass, but what you see is definitely what you get with me. But as I said, competition, ego, and money. So I did have a little bit of an ego going into it. So I kind of expected it to be a success. And if it happens, it happens. I'm like, okay, great. It's not, I'm not going to feel any differently. People asked me the day after it aired, how do you feel? I said, no, I don't feel any differently than I did yesterday. I'm still up at 1 o'clock in the morning on Instagram, looking at the people breaking and trying to go and watch a break without people seeing my name and going, yo, Ken, because I like to see what comes out. I like, especially when there's a new product release, I don't buy everything. I'm not buying, I'm a vintage guy. So I collect vintage, I collect game used. I'm not buying 2023 product for myself. I buy 2023 product for my son. So, if I want to see something, like I'm not going to buy him National Treasures, right? Don't do that for a 9-year-old. So if I want to see what's in the product, I go online and I watch the breakers, and I try to be anonymous, and lots of times I can. Sometimes they just leave me alone and I can just watch what happens and see what's pulled.
Yeah, no, absolutely. That makes sense. Well, so you set the table. You definitely set the table with season 1. Highly entertaining show. I don't think that's in doubt by anyone.
Yep.
Have they given any indication of a season 2? How long does it take for them to say, yes, let's go season 2? And what can we do to help? Yeah, obviously.
Okay. So here's 2 things. So first of all, they told me going in that no matter what happens, you will not know before 30 days, because they want everybody, they want to see, the longevity, and there's the most important thing called completion rate, which I'll get into a second. So, I can hear from my EPs like, this is great. I mean, we're an inexpensive show to make. I mean, we're not Stranger Things. We're not Wednesday. We're not costing $5 million an episode, right? It's like literally setting up cameras at Golden and setting up a camera in the front seat when I'm driving, in the back seat if I'm driving, or, across from me if I'm on a plane. It's not like, anything spectacular. No special effects. So we're relatively inexpensive. We have limitless content. 5,000 items a week go through Gold. So it's easy to pick what we want. I can give them 100 items a week and say, okay, you tell me what you like out of these 100 that I like. So, I think we're going to get renewed, but I won't really know. It could be 30 days, it could be 45 days, or they could surprise me and tell me next week. But what the key with Netflix is, they care not only how many people watch it, but they care how many people are, what percent are engaged. So if you go onto Netflix and you open up your Mac or your phone or your TV and you start episode 1, you have to see all 6, and you have to do it as quickly as humanly possible. So if you like the show, if you have something and you want to get on season 2, you want to email me, like literally, like you can go to my Instagram, Ken Golden, okay? It's at Ken Golden. You can DM me. You want to email me at ken@golden.com with a great item. And you want to get on season 2, here's the way to do it. Open up your computer, open up your phone, click on episode 1, and just let them roll over all 6 episodes, because Netflix records what every single viewer watches and for how long. So if they see that you started it and you finished it, it's going to give me like a much higher grade, okay. So and I think the fact that we only have 6 episodes, that it's interesting, that they're fast paced, there's a cliffhanger of everyone, is really going to help us out.
Absolutely. I typically have my dog watch my episodes every day, but for the next few weeks, we're just going to keep King of Collectibles rolling, and hopefully.
Okay.
Ken, thanks for coming on. I mean, look, you're a busy guy. I appreciate you taking the time. Is there anything else that you wanted to shout out, but before heading out?
No, listen, I enjoy your content. Paul enjoys your content. Thanks for having me on. I'm always open to ideas. I mean, if people watch the show and they say, hey, wouldn't it be cool if you can get this? Wouldn't it be cool if you can do this? I like this. I didn't like this. I do read every single email I get, and I'm still at the point where I do not have anybody screen my social media messages. I do, at some point they will be too overwhelming, but I still try and read every single thing. This is the only way I've ever made money in my entire life since I was 12 years old. I've never made a penny any other way except in the sports card and memorabilia industry. So I hope that everybody is rooting for the show to be a success, and we want it to be both as entertaining as possible, but also as educational as possible, and that's Alex Jaimo's job, is to educate everybody who is not educated as to what the hell is going on when we're doing it.
Yeah, no, fair enough. It was highly entertaining, and you guys have so much you can build on too. I mean, as far as building out the characters, you've got interesting folks, in your office on the show. So hopefully we see 10 seasons of it. I'll be working on it at my house. Everybody that's watching, make sure you're doing the same.
Great. Thank you so much, Greg. Thank you, Dustin. Thanks for having us.
All right. Thanks, Ken.
See ya.
Take it easy.
Yep. Bye.
Steve, we are back. We had a little cameo appearance there. I wasn't quite sure if Ken was going to be able to make it, so that's why we didn't announce the mystery guest necessarily. He's obviously a busy dude.
I wasn't prepared.
Yeah. I told Steve before we came on that it was possible. So don't even act like you had no idea. I mean,
I didn't have anything to talk about. Like, I guess I got to go watch the Netflix show now.
You have to run it on repeat over and over and over. It's actually but being serious, it's highly entertaining. It's a very good show. It's well done. All right, guys, let's continue on. We got a little Ken Golden on the show, guys. Don't sleep on the sports card dad. We got tricks up our sleeve. You never know what's coming on Off Centered. We might bring it on anybody. That's why you got to tune in. All right, so we're going back to the cards. Is this the George Washington you were talking about, the 1870s? George Washington family?
Yeah. If there's if he's on Insta, he can just show me a photo of that if possible. I'm just interested in seeing what it looks like.
Michael Stone with it. Man, people are sneakily getting into Frank Robinson. Frank Robinson is, I think he's just, underrated all over the place.
Well, yeah. People like really, really good players that are affordable. Like, when you look at his accolades and then you look at other people's accolades and you're like, man, this guy's like a top 25 player ever. He's, done historical things, and his cards are just like a fraction of the cost of the others. Kind of like I was talking about with Peyton Manning earlier. Like, same thing. Yeah. Affordable is fun.
It's true when you can get great players. Yeah, absolutely, for good prices. Which has not been easy to do over the last few years. We're getting back there though. Buy high end and trade down for cards plus cash equals chasing. Willie McGahee. For some reason, I read this as Willie McGinnis, and I was thinking that sounds pretty cool. Willis McGahee. 2019 Topps Chrome Pink Refractor, Pete Alonso PSA 10 for the PC. Isn't Pete Alonso having a crazy year? Didn't he have like 50 home runs going back like 3 years? And then he kind of like, was a little quiet. And then now he came out killing it. I'm not a baseball guy. I think I heard that. Steve doesn't know, obviously. Okay. Steve Kwan, 2022 Topps Update Purple PSA 10. 78 Topps Hockey Lot on Heritage. It's interesting the variety of stuff that people are looking at. A&G mini variation back for $2. Nice. All right. Uncle Scrooge, Kapow, Disney 100 for my PC, the silver. DuckTales, best themes. Well, I shouldn't say best. One of the better theme songs from the animated series, DuckTales. Woohoo.
I did a break. I think I told you, but I did a break of that Kappa or whatever Disney.
Oh,
I did a live box break, rip it and ship it break. And it was fun. I mean, I didn't get to open the packs myself, but it's the last of any wax / product that I've purchased, for packs, other than, I've just been buying singles. But it was cool. It would have been cool to rip the cards myself, but it was cool just, have somebody do it.
PK, you missed it. You missed it, buddy. I sold it. I sold the Prism Silver Luca, the PSA 10, in order to buy the Breeze Topps Chrome autographed refractor that I got. You missed that, bud. Yeah, I did sell it before. I don't know if it's going to go under 1,000. It's just one of those cards where I know I can get another one, whereas this Breeze card, it's a one-of-a-kind card. So it's kind of – and I just looked at my collection. I was like, what's the most vulnerable card that I have that's worth a decent amount? And it was that one. It just seemed like an easy one to move off of. Not easy in the sense that I wanted to, because I love that card. I love how it looks. And like I said, I'll get another one, especially if it drops under $1,000 for sure. For sure. Jamal Crawford jersey shoot. Now I'm 25 minutes behind on the chat. Let's see if all right. Let's be real. If it passes the graders test, doesn't matter if you can't tell what's the big deal. It's kind of the whole point of the graders in the first place, for a lot of people. So I don't blame folks.
I mean, if you don't know, there's no, what I say, what you don't know won't hurt you, right? Have you ever heard that saying before? So if you have a card in a case, if it's trimmed and nobody knows it, you're innocent and don't even know it, because you're trusting the label. So it's like the card gets moved as if it's authentic and fine and graded. No one ever knows, I guess, unless they snap it out of the case and put a ruler on it. And I don't know. Yeah.
Noise boys, BGS 9. Bob with the WTF. Is that because Ken came in?
Oh, that was when he popped on the first time and had to leave.
Yeah. When he came in, we couldn't hear him the first time around. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Hey, guys, don't sleep on the sports card, Dad. Like I said, we got tricks over here. We got all.
Hey guys, I've been sleeping on him too, and I'm just
sports card, Dad, undervalued.
There's a reason why you haven't talked to me in 2 weeks.
Trying to take us next level, flipping Steve. LOL, are you serious? How do you let this dude on the show? Oh, come on, Bush Leaguers. Get out of here with that. Well, wasn't expecting that. Brendan, hey, we're bringing heat 24/7, 365. This will actually be like 20 comments of just like, what? Ha, LOLs. I can't believe this, Yeah, we couldn't. Okay, so yeah, I'll skip past these. All right. Crazy Kev watched the show. Put it on repeat, Kev, so we can get a season 2. Bargain Boxer with his signature grading is a scam line.
Hold on.
And now, you know what? We're up against the Lakers Warriors now, I think, right? They started at 10. Would you rather LeBron's stuff or us? Like, come on.
It won't be good until like the last 3 minutes. It's the only part that means anything.
That's a good point, actually. I'm kind of wired. I'll probably stay up for a while and watch the ending. Ken Golden versus the Card Father Showdown special on Netflix. That would actually be an interesting spinoff. Sorry, Mike, we did not get to any questions. We were kind of locked in on what we were talking about. Kenny G made it out. Yeah, it's worth it. It's entertaining. I mean, sure, you can. I had a couple of little things that, maybe tweak or whatever, or just stuff I'd like to see that they can hopefully build on. But overall, it's fast-paced, entertaining show. I mean, you can't not, and it's collectible stuff. You can't not enjoy it. It's entertaining. Yeah, we didn't get to the question. Sorry, Andrew. Okay.
I don't even think I said one word.
Yeah, I told Steve the second that Ken comes on, just be very quiet.
Just be quiet.
No, I had a couple questions. It was supposed to be quick. I didn't want to keep him on for an hour or anything like that. It was by design supposed to be a fairly quick.
I was muted, guys. I was muted.
Yeah, I was like, Steve, can you just drop off the stream? Yeah. No. Yeah, season 2. They got to pick it up. It was good. Yeah, coming as a flashy customer and get arrested, making fat wife jokes, Bob. That's what Bob's going to bring to season 2. Talking about Twinkies and all that. Camera adds 10 pounds. Unbelievable. I shouldn't be laughing at that. Do we really need more drama in the hobby that I love? Of course we do. That's what makes the world go round. A little bit of drama. There you go. I mean, the one thing about Ken Golden is he talks to everybody. I mean, he's not too good to speak with collectors, speak with, dealers, speak with all sorts of different folks that are in the hobby. You got to give him credit for that. Hope to see your daughter full time. Okay. Talking about Ken's daughter on the show. There we go. Like my daughter, I did have her. My daughter made her debut. She did a reel for me on IG. So I just threw that up. I wasn't sure if you were talking about that.
You mean the one today?
Yeah, that was real.
No, there was one.
Oh, I did one with her a few weeks ago. Me and her.
It had an AC/DC song in it.
Yeah. Okay, so that was the first one, but she did a solo, like created her own reel. Actually, really, really good. Okay. So I threw that up there. It's fun. Yeah, on the to-do list, chasing cardboard, of course. Support the homies over at Bench Clear Media. The good slogan, Bargain Boxer. Bargain Boxer loves grading. Send him my paid off mortgage statement to get a line of credit. I'm not a fan of the search engine, if I'm being honest. Oh, Golden search engine. Okay, well. Yeah, it's the battle. It's the Heritage Golden. These are the big dogs battling it out for my business. No, they're not. I'm going to try to sell my wedding ring. Yeah, now that they have all this range, Bob, you can, Bob's sending in all sorts of stuff. They can do all sorts of things.
We got the train boys. See, what's even more exciting than Ken Golden? Train out of nowhere.
Oh, well, Bargain Boxer, when you have Ken on your channel, you can do that. You can give him the toughness. You can show him the toughness. All right, I'm skipping past all of the Bargain Boxer hate, the hate chats. Yeah, season 2. So the deal I made with Ken is he comes on my show, he can come on my show, and then I can go on his show for season 2. I thought that was fair. Steve is on mute because he's talking to Daisy. Daisy was probably flipping out over the train.
No, she was laying here sleeping, but I called her over, but she, I don't know. She walked away. She doesn't usually do that. She's tired. She's been up with me since this morning, running around the yard, back and forth, back and forth.
Was Steve holding in vomit during the Ken interview? My God, I think Bargain Boxer's his fingers are tired from all the typing when Ken Golden came on. He went nuts. This dude.
This one was Bob. That was Bob.
Bob, Mike, and Bargain Boxer lost their minds when Ken came on. They hit their keyboard. Someone send those guys new keyboards. They literally broke their keyboards. God. Okay. There we go. There's a new person. Saw my holy grail ever typed today. 81 Tops, Joe. That's with the PSA 10 auto.
I saw that card.
Where was it?
I saw that card maybe on social media somewhere where somebody was comparing that to the regular and different prices or something. Where did I see that? It was probably scrolling Instagram and it just popped up there randomly. So I remember seeing that though.
Shout out to Lee Haskins. We met Lee. Remember we met Lee at Philly show. I didn't get an actual 1-of-1, Jordan. I got an eBay 1-of-1, if you will. It's a 2001 Topps Chrome black refractor. And no, it wasn't titled up eBay 1-of-1. It's a 2001 Topps Chrome black refractor. It's numbered out of 100, but it's signed by Breeze, auto grade 10. And then there's an inscription that reads Cool Breeze on it. So it's a one-of-a-kind card. It's not a 1-of-1 of him, though. To me, it's even better, frankly. But yeah, that's the one I got. All right. Pete Alonso, decent buy guy, could probably hit 65 1 year. Is he still with the Mets?
Yeah, I think so.
Whoa. Read the whole thing, Dustin. Oh, I don't know which one you're talking about, Jordan. We almost need to have next time a comment person. Someone just to go over all the comments. We're starting to get to that point. Or Steve, you just pull them out, shout them out. Be aggressive and shout them out, and then give me the timestamp, and I'll pull it up.
Well, you're catching up now.
Yeah, I think we're getting there. The Lakers.
That was the train sound. That was you finally getting your ass in gear and getting on these comments.
Pulled that Michael Jackson, Diana Ross. That's what everybody was really wondering the entire time, really the entire stream, is that Jackson, Diana Ross, Smokey Robinson logo, man. We've been talking about.
I'd buy it.
I know Steve would buy it. All right. The train is coming. It's rolling around the bend. I ain't seen the sunshine since I don't know when. That sounds like a song lyric. Steve, do we have a song? Do we recognize?
I would need a tune to go with that one. Yeah, I probably know it. And when someone tells me what it is, I'd be like, damn, why did I know it? But I don't know.
Another shameless plug for Dallas Card Show. Yeah. I mean, it's a busy show. Out-of-state folks to bring more variety to the ultra-modern crud. Sorry, not sorry. We'll make it back one day. You know, the thing that's so hard is we also, closer to where Steve are, wow, you saw something.
I was just reading Bargain Boxer's comment at 10:38 made me laugh out loud on live stream.
All right, wait, I'll get to it.
Oh man, that was good though.
Well, we have really good.
It wasn't bad. It's a good one.
All right.
I mean, he wasn't being mean, which mean is fine. But I mean,
where's Dakota? Miss those days when all you guys were together on a live stream. Dustin, yeah, we'll get Neo back on.
We'll get Neo on, but Dakota's like gone from retired or to semi-retired to maybe like fully retired to like I
don't know what's going on
every now and then. He's probably busy. I mean, like I said, I haven't put out a video in 2 weeks, but it's not because I don't want to come on and talk about cards or anything. It's just tough.
Yeah, life comes at you fast. But yeah, it would be cool to have all those guys
punching you in the face with the hobby.
Yeah. How do you feel when the hobby punches you in the face? All right. I'm trying to find the one that you were talking about. Bargain Boxer today.
I just said I apologize, Dustin and Steve. I just had a bad day and took it out on Ken.
Man, and I didn't mean to make you. I wasn't like busting on you. The whole keyboard thing, I thought I was just trying to be funny. I don't think that you really broke the keyboard. But look, we appreciate your engagement, Bargain Boxer, as always. Even the grading is a scam. That's your catchphrase. I like it. I go with it. Every time you comment, I try to try to say hey to you. So we appreciate you.
Hey, Purple Haze is in the comment. He says the Johnny Cash lyric. I haven't seen Purple Haze in a while.
Where the hell is he? Oh, there he is. Oh, damn. Hiding. Have you been watching Purple Haze and just not in the chat, or just not watching? Because fair enough either way. I'm at the end of the chat. Guys, we're an hour 40 in. Throw in any other topics you would like to cover, except Bob, we're not going to talk about your wife. And Bargain Boxer, we're not going to go back into grading. we understand where you guys sit on that. All right.
Yeah, let's get a topic real quick, because I feel like
throw something at me. Let's go.
Well, I feel like we scanned the comments, which is always good. We had
Yes.
a guest on. That's good. But I feel like we didn't hit much ourselves tonight.
Are you saying
some
that we
reason.
didn't prepare very much for
Either
this?
I have a lot to talk about and I don't know what to talk about, which doesn't
bro.
make any sense at all.
Dude, come with it.
Or just
what's on
always
your mind?
feel incomplete. I don't know.
What's a hobby topic that we haven't covered, chat, that maybe is worth talking about here?
Look, here's the thing. Not only have I been out of, or not made a video myself for a couple of weeks, I've kind of been out of touch with any YouTube content. I haven't been able to watch anything. So I don't even know. Like, I need updates. Like,
But
I don't even know.
You're watching me every day, though, right? You're talking about everybody else, or not? Or not?
Oh,
me?
well, yours, like, I have the TV programmed, so the TV just comes on, and yeah, it's like the pool vacuum, right? Like the robotic pool vacuum that just turns on and dives into the pool on its own. My TV just comes on, your video goes on.
That's what
It gets put on repeat.
Those are the expectations. I know
Right.
Steve's wife is like, my God, do we have to watch this again?
Well, I keep it on repeat, and then I go to work, and then when I come home, I ask Crazy Daisy what your video was about.
Oh, Crazy Daisy.
Yeah, we
Speaking of, I wonder what Spritzel's doing right now.
Yeah, you guys use smooth, or you guys use jazz music, like cool jazz music to keep Spritzels chilled. I just put on, I put on Sports Card Dad. And Daisy just lays there like, I remember him.
We're starting to really go down a rabbit hole here in the chat with Bob offering up his wife. We're talking about stats. There's pass. Yeah, it's starting to really
PSA grade.
It's starting to go really downhill.
See, which one of BGS, SGC, or CSG goes out of business or gets bought out first?
I think the boys at SGC are doing great. Obviously, I don't know their financials and all that stuff, but I mean, Pete and the gang just keep on rolling along.
I mean, the thing about SGC is they have sustained themselves for a long time. They weren't new during the pandemic. A lot of people, I mean, there is quite a lot of people who believe that SGC came around as one of the new grading companies during the pandemic. Mm-hmm. Now, a lot of people in our comments may be, they understand that they're not, but there are a lot of people out there who believe that SGC is a newer grading company when in fact they've been around just about as long as PSA, if not a year longer or something like that. And they've always had a foothold in the hobby, whether it be big, small, or whatever, but they've always sustained themselves. They had a chance to really capitalize during 2020. That's when people got their name out there, but it didn't quite work out to where they knocked PSA off of the mountain. To be realistic, right now, they are probably number 2. You know, we talk about BGS. There was a time when BGS was number 1. I remember that time back in the late 90s to the mid 2000s. And that's why you're going to check your pop reports. That's the thing I didn't bring up. I was talking about Peyton Manning, Bowman Chrome refractors and stuff earlier and how the PSA pop report is low.
Yeah.
There will be a decent pop report probably in BGS. You find a lot of 80s cards graded in BGS, like Montana Topps rookies, like I've been looking at in a PSA 9. You find lots of those in BGS slabs because when grading started becoming popular, BGS was number 1. Now, whether they use their price guide to manipulate prices and make people want to use their grading service, that's a whole nother debate. But I do remember when they were listing prices of grading cards in the back of their own price guide that people trusted to price their cards by, and they were listing BGS graded cards at a higher value than PSA. So that's a huge conflict of interest. But BGS now, we don't know. They were the ones that we got the least information out of through the whole pandemic when people were shut down. What were their plans going forward? What were they going to do? And then as other grading companies have reopened and gotten through their backlog and kind of had plans and sending out deals and advertising and moving forward with their infrastructure, I still feel like even though BGS has come out and made some things, anything that they've tried to move forward with so far has kind of like been retracted. Like the whole grading scale thing. I said at the Philly show back in March, I submitted a card with BGS, a card with SGC. SGC had a whole electronic setup and everything was really easy. BGS, I was filling it out on a piece of paper with a pen and you know, it just didn't seem like it was very updated. It felt like I was still grading my cards in the 90s is what it felt like. When I used to submit to BGS back in the late 90s and early 2000s, that's what it felt like.
Damn, I didn't know you were.
It didn't feel like it's moved up. Yeah, I was submitting back then. I submitted when submitting cards wasn't that popular. I remember submitting a 90 score. The biggest card that I ever submitted was a 90 score supplement, Emmitt Smith, and it came back a BGS 9.5. And that was...
Real quick, hold that thought, Steve. You guys are where conspiracy theories will be abundant after having Ken on the live stream. What is that? Let me know what you mean by that, Brendan, either in the chat or if you want to reach out to me directly on IG, that's fine too, buddy. Is that like the lizard men or what are the, you know, so it's the conspiracy theory? Because I think that's funny. Anyway, keep going, Steve. I just wanted to pull that up.
Yeah, I don't know. But yeah, no, I was grading cards back then. Now, I wasn't very experienced. I was just like, hey, man, my card looks pretty good. I'm going to send it in to get graded, and it would come back graded a 6 or a 7. You know, I wasn't, you know, when you're getting cards and you're younger and you're trading with your friends, you're not like, oh, man, this one's really well centered. In fact, you really didn't care about centering at all. You looked at the corners most of the time when you were a kid. Oh, the corners are nice. But you didn't pay centering any mind because that's how it came out of the pack. Right. So you just figured that's the way it was supposed to be. But yeah, I was grading cards in the early 2000s, things like that. But it was mostly like 80s football, things like Dan Marino rookies, Jerry Rice rookies. You know, when those cards didn't cost that much. And I remember getting a Emmitt Smith 90 score supplement back in a BGS 9.5. And I sold that card. I bought that complete set from my LCS for like $50. And I graded the Emmitt Smith and sold it on eBay for $650. That was probably my first really significant flip. And that was back then. That card's not even worth that now, I don't think. Yeah. It's not worth that now in a BGS slab, but at the time it was worth that in a BGS slab because that's what the Beckett magazine said it was worth. There was no checking eBay comps and things like that to look at what your card value was. You looked at the Beckett magazine and that was it.
Yeah, that was kind of a funky time, you know, where you've got their great, you know, Beckett was grading cards, but then also offering a price guide on their graded cards. It's not to say it's not, you know, a knock on Beckett. It just opens the door. I mean, that was pre-social media days, you know, where you didn't have everybody on Twitter or on IG or on YouTube questioning. But my God, think about if that was, you know, today, where you have you know, if you'd had the Beckett price guide and then the BGS graded cards and they're pricing out their own cards. I mean, yeah, I feel like there would be quite a bit of pushback. I think that this comment is interesting because for me, I try to think about what are people going to be nostalgic about in the future? Because I obviously have a ton of nostalgia with 80s, 90s stuff. And right now, you know, we also have to remember too, we came out of kind of a euphoria boom. And now we've been on kind of a downslide as far as, you know, assets go, alternative investments or alternative assets or however you want to call it. But you have to assume that, you know, sentiment is low right now, but it won't always be low. You know, there's going to be stuff down the road where people are excited about it again. We'll be back in. I think we were in a bull market for so long. And then now we've kind of come off of that high and, you know, but eventually we'll probably go back to something similar. We just don't know exactly when that's going to be. But I just think that's kind of an interesting comment that you're making. M. Jordan, M. Jordan to GOAT. BGS become more collectible in 5 to 10 years. I don't know if it's true or not, but I'm just talking about as a whole. People will be nostalgic about stuff.
I feel like here that I don't think that nostalgia will play into what grading companies people prefer.
Not with grading companies.
Yeah,
I was talking about
right. Well, I'm just saying nostalgia was a big factor to do with the recent boom over the past couple of years. There was multiple factors, but nostalgia was definitely one of them. And nostalgia didn't increase the value of BGS cards other than the fact that the overall market was increased. It wasn't just specific. Okay, PSA stayed right here and BGS took this climb due to nostalgia. They both went up, but BGS didn't gain any ground. In fact, they probably lost some ground. And so I don't think nostalgia kicks in as far as, yeah, we'll have fun talking about the magazines and things like that.
But, yeah, that's the real nostalgia.
Yeah. But I don't think as far as people saying, oh, I'm nostalgic for a slab. I think that if that was going to happen, it would have just happened.
Yeah, I agree. People aren't nostalgic about the Beckett today. They're not nostalgic about the company today. They're not. I mean, you don't have the same people running it. It's just different now. It may as well be any company that owns BGS in my mind. All right, we'll move off from that topic. Old SGC slab that has some green on the label. That's the old SGC label. You can always switch it out for a new label if you want the tux. That's what Steve just did recently with a vintage card. Let's see. The sports card Illuminati. There it is. It's a shame HJ didn't catch on. I love the color match slabs. The one HJ slabs that popped out to me is there were Stranger Things cards that had a custom waffle slab. And I thought I was like, damn, that actually looks pretty cool. So I do agree. I mean, the actual product and visually some of the stuff that they put out is cool. And who knows, maybe they'll have kind of a renaissance. SGC took advantage of the void created by PSA and BGS's backlog. YouTubers swore up and down they'd only go with the tux slabs. And now, yeah, I still like the tux slab. But I'm also of the mind of like grade with whoever you want to grade with. I mean, I think that it's personal preference. I don't fault anybody for being PSA only. I don't fault anybody for being CSG only. Really, honestly, I think that we've got some solid companies out there with the big ones. It's just a matter of which cards you want to grade it at wherever you want to grade them. So yeah, I don't have any sort of.
Yeah, I would say for collecting, collect the slab that you want personally. If you are someone who's trying to make money in the hobby and flip, you have to take advantage of all three major grading companies. I still don't throw CSG in there. I don't know why I still can't. But and I own a couple CSG slabs, but you got to take advantage of what all they have to offer and the deals that they give, and their turnaround times are important. If somebody was to get backlogged, and send the right cards to the right company, but that's a whole nother conversation. But there is a place for all three right now. I just use SGC and Beckett. I haven't used PSA since November, but I do have a stash of cards that needs to go to PSA. So that's what I would say on that.
So what's weird about the cyclical part, Brendan, though, is that these IPs are now multi-generational, where they were not when we were kids. Like, in other words, a lot of these like amazing, IPs, are just getting renewed again. So it's kind of like this new generation, my kids are now getting into a lot of the same things that I was. My son just played Mega Man 1 through. So they have on the Switch, you can buy like the Ultimate Pack, and you can get Mega Man 1 through 6 for like $12. He went through and beat all of them. I think I only beat like 1 or 2 of those games. And then he got the Ultimate Pack 2 and beat like Mega Man 7 through 10. My point is, though, is he listens to we listen on the way to school, like Mega Man 3 soundtrack. No joke. Like the opening theme, he is completely into Mega Man and the old Mario Brothers stuff. So, but that's my point. He's 8. That next generation is basically, just going in on the same stuff. Whereas I'm not going in on anything really that my parents that they were into and collecting.
Right. It's like, well, nostalgia is a general definition.
Yeah.
But everyone is going to relate to their own, what triggers their nostalgia. It's going to be different for everybody. And that may be because of age. That may be because of what they're into. That may be because of the music that they listen to, the type of movies they like to watch. Age is going to have a lot to do with it. Because like you said, what's nostalgia for me is the 80s and into the 90s. But 20 years from now, 15 years from now, people who are getting that nostalgia trigger that we just got is going to be triggering to them a whole different set of things, a whole new time frame, a whole new era, because they weren't born, right? Say you're 20 years old, 20 years from now, this is going to be nostalgia, right? 2025 or 2030 is going to be nostalgia to somebody 20 to 25 years from now.
Right.
So, not 1980 like it is to me.
I don't know the answer to this, Michael. Is it the same price to rehold or as it is to grade? I thought that it might be a little bit less expensive.
I think it was a little bit less. I want to say not much less, though, to be honest. Might have been $5 less.
The waffle slab. Fair enough, Mike. Fair enough. All right, guys, I'm catching up on the chat, and it is almost 11 o'clock here Eastern, and I'm an old man. So I think that we're going to probably pack it in here pretty soon. But let me just see if there's anything. Oh, we've got a Mega Man 3 fan here. Mm-hmm. Absolutely. I just bought a graded video game for him as well, and it's Mega Man 3 complete in box. I got a nice deal on an auction for that one. I actually agree with you here, Bob. I like Mega Man 2 as well. But the old box cup, the old NES boxes, the art and everything on those. Mega Man 1, actually, the art is really horrific. It's terrible, but it's just like such an iconic game. I don't have that one yet, but that's I like to collect the graded video games as well. That's fine. The prices have come way down on those. They got hot with a lot of other things, and now they've come way down to where you catch a good auction. It's fun. It is fun. Oh man, U.S. Sports Cards came in with a massive question here. Great question, but I was trying to pack it up. Do you think financial leverage could cause panic in the fractional marketplace and increase contagion in the overall high-end market in the hobby? I kind of think that that's already happened. U.S. Sports Cards to some degree. I mean, from what I've heard, I guess I don't have hard evidence of it, but I think that was a little bit what happened with PWCC when they were giving out loans against cards, kind of like cards as collateral type thing. And then basically, margin called, so to speak, where, those cards have to go to auction to pay back the loan. Again, I don't have like hard numbers on it. I don't have a lot of examples. I've seen the reference to it a variety of different places. So I think it's happened to some degree. I don't know though how many people were actually over leveraged or, and that's just, I'm just speaking on just a couple of things at PWCC possibly, but with the fractional marketplace, yeah, it could be similar where, if assets were bought in 2021 or whatever. Yeah. I mean, I think that I've always said, I think a lot of mid-tier cards, cards that never really should have been high end became high end over the last couple of years, where you had a $10,000 card that became a $50,000 card and is now back to 15,000, let's just say. There's a lot of examples of that. 2003 Topps Chrome LeBron James PSA 10. It's a $5,000 card, $6,000 card. It got all the way up to 40 grand, and it hovered around 10 grand for a while. I mean, there's just a lot of cards in that swath, that were high end, but really should never have been high end. And so there's going to be a reckoning. There really has been a sports card reckoning, if you will.
Reckoning.
A sports reckoning, if you will.
That's good. Play on words there.
There we go. It's going to get gooey, as Bob says. I'm not sure exactly what he's referring to. I'll just keep moving on in case he's being
Waffle House. Is he talking? I don't know. Waffle House.
Nostalgia is part of collecting, but I think vintage is where everyone will eventually
Put some scissor on my waffle.
Scissor.
Oh no, froze. Is it me? Hope it's not me. I'm taking over, guys. Taking over. Come
Frozen.
back. Was it me or you?
No, it was me. My Wi-Fi is finally. My Wi-Fi is like finally. We're crapping out. I bought an Ethernet cable and I bought an adapter, and the adapter didn't work. So got to get the adapter. Eventually, guys, I'm going to be on a hard line. I bought a 50-foot Ethernet cable, so hopefully next time I see you here, we don't have any of the freeze ups.
Do you have anything on a hard line? Your desktop or anything?
Nothing.
Everything's Wi-Fi, really?
Yeah, that's why I told all of my kids with their cell phones and everything, I told them all to go on data, do not be on the Wi-Fi, TV's off, because I'm going on, I'm streaming. So it worked pretty well. There was a couple times during the stream where it crept up, but I think that was just Brad in the background coming through the ghost in the machine.
I mean, I'm Wi-Fi now on my desktop because I'm upstairs, but in my old house, it was hardline. But that's because in this house I keep the modem downstairs and it routers out to everything. So
the only time I ever have an issue is on StreamYard. Like I never have an issue with my Wi-Fi except when I'm streaming. I don't ever my internet never cuts in and out.
Man, you're like a preferred customer, man. You need to get with StreamYard and be like, yo, what's up with that?
Yeah, why is this not running right? Yeah, I totally agree. Mega Man 5's already out, Mike. They're on Mega Man 14 or something now. Mega Man 5 is available. Mega Man Takes Manhattan. That's right. After the Friday the 3rd, it's like Friday the 13th and Mega Man, or Jason versus Mega Man.
Jason
versus Freddy. All right, Brendan. Good night, man. Take care. Mega Man 5 and 6. Yeah. I do want the original Mega Man 1 complete in box. I want it.
Do those types of games run a lot of money? I don't know. I always felt like I never really played much Mega Man.
Well, that's
I played it.
I only played 1 through 3.
I played lots of Zelda and lots of what was the one? Metroid. Metroid was a big one for me, but especially for Nintendo. But Mega Man, I don't know, not ever really a whole lot on the Mega Man.
Yeah. Mike, 80s Nintendo Entertainment System game. That's what we're talking about. Yeah. Wait, it's a game? All right, guys, we're going to pack it up. I'm tired. Steve's tired. So yeah, there we are. But thank you very much for tuning in. We appreciate you. We'll be back in 2 weeks for another Off-Centered, friends.
See you guys.
See you later.